Red Bull Racing is facing one of its most persistent puzzles in Formula One, and it's not Max Verstappen's dominance or aerodynamic tweaks. It's the other car. The second seat, meant to be a supporting pillar to the team's title ambitions, has turned into a revolving door of underperformance and unanswered questions. Yuki Tsunoda's recent outing in Canada only added fuel to the fire. After being hit with a 10-place grid drop for illegally overtaking during a red flag session in FP3, Tsunoda started from the very back. While he fought his way up to P12, the result was ultimately a lap down and outside the points. It wasn't a disaster, but in a car that demands absolute precision, small errors snowball into major consequences. And Tsunoda knows it. He openly admitted that the mental strain is starting to affect his driving, and in Red Bull's cutthroat ecosystem, there's no room for fragility. But now, in a twist that no one predicted, a new candidate has appeared on the horizon: Nico Hülkenberg. Yes, the veteran journeyman of Formula One, with more than a decade of racing under his belt, is suddenly being talked about as a potential solution to Red Bull's second-seat curse. It's a major deviation from Red Bull's DNA. For years, the team took pride in nurturing homegrown talent. From Sebastian Vettel to Daniel Ricciardo to Verstappen himself, the Red Bull Junior program was once considered the ultimate factory for future champions. But that conveyor belt is showing signs of rust. The production line that once pumped out podium finishers has started missing its marks. Tsunoda hasn't yet proven to be the answer. Neither has Liam Lawson, and Sergio Perez, despite flashes of brilliance, continues to suffer from inconsistency. Red Bull's patience is running thin, and perhaps so is their pool of internal talent. Enter Hulkenberg. Not a title contender, but a driver known for his racecraft, consistency, and maturity under pressure. He isn't there to challenge Verstappen or shake up the team hierarchy. He's the kind of steady, experienced hand who can deliver clean qualifying runs, avoid the chaos on Sundays, and quietly rack up valuable points without drama or distraction. And that's exactly what Red Bull might need right now. Not a future superstar, not another gamble on youth. Just someone who can hold his ground, race smart, and bring the car home. Someone who won't get swallowed up in Verstappen's shadow. Because maybe, just maybe, the answer to Red Bull's biggest question isn't a prodigy from within. It's the professional from the paddock, cool, collected, and ready.
There's something quietly powerful about a Formula One team where the drivers actually get along. And in the case of Max Verstappen and Nico Hülkenberg, that harmony already exists. That kind of chemistry, both on and off the circuit, can't be underestimated. Hulkenberg, the seasoned German, has earned respect across the paddock, not just for his driving, but for his communication. He speaks the car's language fluently, offering precise, valuable feedback, a trait engineers adore. At Red Bull, where everything is sculpted around Verstappen's highly specific needs, this second perspective could be invaluable. As the team tunes its machinery to Max's aggressive style, there's a risk of locking into a single vision. Hulkenberg could be the much-needed second voice, helping to guide development into a more versatile, well-rounded direction, especially crucial as Formula One prepares for the sweeping regulation changes set to arrive in 2026. But there's a problem. Hulkenberg is not sitting idle in the driver market. He's already committed to Audi, who are gearing up for their grand entrance as a full-fledged works team. Nico's role is pivotal. He's expected to provide stability and experience as they ramp up. For Red Bull to lure him away would be a bold, possibly antagonistic move. And would Audi even consider letting their most experienced driver walk away just as their engine fires up? If Hulkenberg stays put, Red Bull's options suddenly get very thin. Pierre Gasly is still under contract with Alpine, and the last time he shared a garage with Max, it ended in a confidence-shattering exit. Alex Albon is thriving at Williams and has little reason to return to the intense pressure cooker that is Red Bull. Carlos Sainz has already been overlooked once for 2025, asking him to reconsider might be a tall order. Which brings us to the fallback, Sergio Perez. Ironically, the very driver Red Bull seems ready to part ways with may end up being their only remaining option. But even Checo might not stick around. Whispers from the paddock suggest Cadillac sees him as the ideal frontman for their upcoming F1 venture. If Red Bull wait too long, they may not just lose him, they might gift him to a competitor. And if the external market continues to close off, Red Bull may once again be forced to draw from within. Right now, All eyes are on Ishak Hadjar. The young Frenchman has been quietly making waves in the junior ranks, impressing at Racing Bulls and receiving praise from both Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. Calm, composed, and full of quiet confidence, Hadjar has the makings of a future star. But here's the tough truth. We've been here before. Gasly had the raw pace. Albon showed humility and growth. Tsunoda brought fire and flair. All three were handed the second Red Bull seat, and all three buckled under the weight of expectations. Hadjar may be next in line, but is he truly ready to step into the arena alongside one of the most relentless forces Formula One has ever seen? The issue, after all, might not be the drivers. It might be the machine. Red Bull's RB21 isn't designed to suit a broad range of styles. It's built with surgical precision to match one driver's needs, Max Verstappen. As Helmut Marko himself has acknowledged, Max demands a car with an ultra-reactive front end, razor-sharp turn-in, immediate grip, and unwavering stability at the limit. Any trace of understeer throws him off. That's his Achilles heel. This philosophy produces a monster of a car, but only for Max. For everyone else, it's a twitchy, unforgiving beast. Perez, Gasly, Albon, Lawson, and now Tsunoda, all of them have struggled to tame it. Few have found the right rhythm. Even fewer have lasted long enough to adapt. And this brings us to one of the most puzzling decisions Red Bull has made lately. Liam Lawson. Thrown into the deep end during a chaotic, rain-soaked debut in Melbourne, Lawson showed promise and poise. Yet despite handling that pressure with maturity beyond his years, he was swiftly moved aside. No second chance, no extended audition. In a team where second chances are rare and expectations are sky high, Red Bull may need to reevaluate not just who drives the second car, but what kind of car they're expecting them to survive in. Because until they build a machine that's a little more forgiving, or find a driver truly immune to the Verstappen storm, the second seat will remain Formula One's most cursed throne. Liam Lawson showed composure far beyond his experience. In testing and under pressure, he remained focused, sharp, and even managed to outshine Yuki Tsunoda, a feat that didn't go unnoticed by those within the team. Insiders praised his professionalism and calm approach, yet despite the early promise, Red Bull made a swift and unforgiving decision. Lawson was out just as quickly as he had arrived. Now, with Tsunoda struggling in the spotlight, that decision is beginning to look increasingly questionable. Tsunoda was handed what many drivers would consider a dream opportunity. A shot in the Red Bull senior team, racing alongside none other than Max Verstappen. It was a promotion designed to mark his arrival as a top-tier talent. But instead of solidifying his reputation, it's exposing his vulnerabilities. The pressure is immense, and Tsunoda is visibly buckling under its weight. His performances have swung wildly from promising to problematic. His raw speed is undeniable, but his lack of polish, the inconsistency in wheel-to-wheel combat, the hesitation in key moments, the mistakes under pressure, all continue to show. The RB21, engineered with laser focus around Verstappen's aggressive and pinpoint style, demands perfection. And Tsunoda, like many before him, is struggling to bend the car to his will. What should have been a breakout season is quickly turning into a live-fire test he's struggling to pass. Ironically, this situation casts a new light on the criticism once aimed at Sergio Perez. Yes, Checo struggled to match Verstappen in qualifying. Yes, he faded at times. But in retrospect, his 2024 season, scoring 152 points and delivering several podium finishes, looks more like resilience than failure. In an environment dominated by one of the most precise, relentless drivers in Formula One history, simply holding ground is an achievement in itself. Perez may not have dazzled every weekend, but he filled the number 2 role with maturity. He was there when the team needed a buffer, a safety net, a point scorer. He cleaned up when Max soared, and held the line when things got messy. Compared to what Red Bull is experiencing now in 2025, Perez's tenure seems far more stable, and arguably, undervalued. At the heart of this issue is a deeper philosophical shift. Red Bull's once celebrated talent pipeline flourished in an era when young drivers were given room to grow, to stumble, learn, and find their feet in a competitive but forgiving system. That was before Verstappen became the benchmark, before the car evolved into a hyper-specialized machine tuned to one man's instincts, and before Formula One's performance bar rose so brutally high. Today's Red Bull demands excellence immediately.
There's no space for adaptation, no patience for learning curves. And in that kind of environment, even promising talents like Tsunoda and discarded ones like Lawson are either perfect now or expendable. It's not just a driver dilemma, it's an identity crisis. Because unless Red Bull recalibrates their expectations or builds a car that's slightly more democratic in its demands, they may keep burning through young talent before it ever has a chance to truly shine. And now, the cracks are only growing wider. Max Verstappen remains as ruthless as ever. The RB21 continues to be a brutal machine, precision-engineered for one man, and punishing for anyone else. And into this high-pressure environment, Red Bull keeps dropping young drivers with minimal room to breathe. In today's Formula One, raw talent just isn't enough. The bar has been raised. If you're not nearly perfect from the very first lap, you're already falling behind. And if Red Bull refuses to ease that learning curve, maybe it's time they face what the evidence already suggests. Experience may now matter more than loyalty to their junior program. Nico Hülkenberg might not be a Red Bull graduate, but he could be exactly the veteran presence they need. Someone to bring consistency, feedback, and calm to the chaos. Because until Red Bull finds a driver who can reliably hold down that second seat, Verstappen's wins will continue to feel oddly solitary. The team may keep winning, but their dominance will always carry a hint of imbalance. So now the big question looms. Is it time for Red Bull to set aside their academy-first philosophy and bet on experience? Maybe even go all in on a seasoned pro like Hulkenberg? Or do you still believe in the promise of youth? That a rising star like Isaac Hadjar deserves a chance, even if it risks repeating the same story we saw with Gasly, Albon, and Tsunoda? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Should Red Bull play it safe with a veteran, or gamble once more on raw potential? Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.